I won't for now, but that could. What do you want? Have a little chat? Alright, it's nothing. It's not like I got anything better to do. Tell me about yourself. Wizard, I know. I was born, I'm alive, I haven't died yet. Is that enough for you? Do you remember your childhood? Ragangar scowls. What a crap question. I was just a kid when they sold me. Before I don't remember much. Smoky fires, stinky hides, always bumping along on a horse. I think I was born in one of the Kelid tribes of Numeria. There are many. Some survive on their own, some give up their pride and serve the Technic League. Guess mine was one of the cowards and they sold their own kids. Remember my father's hands, rough, scarred, white. So I guess I get this green skin from my mother. But I don't remember her. I remember playing with another half-orc child. A brother, maybe. For some reason, it didn't sell him. Just me. Father gave him his dagger. Father gave him his dagger to play with. Never gave it to me. Ugh, I don't want to remember. Forget all this. I'm an orphan. Ragangar waves his hand wearily. I grew up a slave. That's all I remember. So many things burned into my memory. Most of all, I remember her, my Octavia. Today, we're almost the same age, but back then she was twice as young as me. Just a child, but a brave one. Cunning, bold, and beautiful. The most beautiful girl in the world. Which deity do you worship? Ha! Never got so much help from the gods so far, but if you make me choose, I'd say Callistra. Who else could I worship? The savored Sting, the goddess of pleasure, fun, and revenge. Pleasure, fun, and revenge. Oh yes. Where do you get your magical powers? What magical powers? What the hell are you talking about? Oh, you mean these? Gongar makes lightning run through his hands with a content smile, then snaps his finger, invoking a shower of blinding sparks. I've had them since I was born. At least one thing I could thank my scum parents for. Maybe these powers are why they sold me into slavery. Think they were scared? Who knows? Damn Numerians. At the Technic League, they drew my blood, did experiments, burned me with fire, tortured me with cold, electricity. And they told me, you won't believe it, they told me I had a blue dragon blood in my veins. Not bad, huh? I'm a dragon, you freaks. Come check out my blood if you dare. Grinning, Ragangar strikes his palm with a fist, and another fountain of electricity sparks shoot upwards. What do your tattoos mean? They're magical. They help me control my powers. The Technic League gave them to me. I'd hope that somewhere on my body there was at least one sign left by my tribe, but no. I just didn't care to bother. To hell with them. They better hope I never find them. If I meet my father, I'll even the score between us. How did you manage to use both swords and magic and not cut off your fingers? It's simple. I'm just that bloody good. The half-orc gives a content grin. Do you enjoy making people suffer? Why should I care about their suffering? I do what I want. If I step on someone's toes, then they shouldn't have to put themselves in my way. But chasing someone down just to torture them? That's only entertainment for maniacs like the Technic League. Well, on second thought... For them, I'm going to make an exception. I love to watch them fry nice and slow. But why do you ask? Do my methods shock you? Ragangar clenches his fist, buzzing with sparks and laughing loudly at his joke. You treat your enemies like that? What makes you better than them? Why do you think I want to be better? What does that even mean? I have no delusions of purity. I don't need to prove myself to myself or my enemies that I'm better than them. Morally, spiritually, whatever. I just want them rotting in the ground so I could live, drink wine, and piss on their graves. Thank you for your answers. Thanks. Thanks don't fill my purse. Haha, just kidding. Tell me about your life in Numeria. You mean my life as a slave? I didn't see much except for the slave barracks and the League's twisted laboratories. How did you happen to become a slave? I was sold by my own tribe. When I was just a little brat, the half-orc clenches his teeth and then spits on the ground, steps it on with his boot. So I grew up in the slave barracks. I was raised to be sold like a battle animal. They tried to break me, but they picked the wrong brat. No matter how much you beat this animal, he only gets angrier. The half-orc punches himself in the chest and snarls. Why did your masters teach you magic? Can't you guess? Because magic is in my blood. That's why they bought me. I wasn't raised as some lowly op slave. As a murder machine. I fetch quite a nice sum of gold. If you might ask, Oh, you might also ask if they knew I'd take the first opportunity to rip their own guts using everything they taught me. Of course I did. That's the Technic League. They calculate risk. Octavia kept pretending to be a simple-minded. They wouldn't expect anything of her, but I made every effort, though they didn't teach me much. But what is there to teach? It's not book magic, it's innate. They made me practice my sword more, but I did my best in everything. I studied all I could. They knew they weren't raising an enemy, but they thought they could keep me on a short leash, or sell me to someone with deep pockets so I become someone else's problem. But who won in the end, huh? Who's free? Who will bury them all? The half-orc makes an obscene gesture at the northern west direction towards Numeria. What else does you see beyond your life in chains? What else have I seen? Well, when we ran, we went through Starfall. That's a fine city. Big, loud, many merchants. Things to see, things to steal. But I didn't have much chance to walk around. It's the very nest of the sodding Technic League. We were more focused on getting out alive. We met some barbarians, asked them who might know what tribe I'm from, but they didn't know anything. I didn't have any tribal tattoos, nothing. Actually, they were all right. Well, some of them. The Blood Pikes, for one, they're great. All the rivers are theirs. We sailed with them during one of our escapes, all the way to Brevoy. They didn't turn us in, but the White Scars got us after that. Those guys are shit. They sold their pride to the Technic League. Oh, one more thing. One time when Octavia, tried to escape, I stumbled across a Numerian monster. I'll never forget it. A huge spider the size of a house, made of metal, spitting fire, shooting deadly rays all around. The thing could probably tear even a dragon to pieces. Ruined our escape plans, too. We had to go back. Did you and Octavia try to escape? What do you think? Of course we tried. I stopped counting how many times I jumped from the windows, dug tunnels, choked out guards, or seduced them. That happened too. Those dirtbags caught us every time. Every bloody time. My back is covered with whip scars. Luckily, we were prized property. They spent too much gold on us to kill us. Anyone else would be hanged and forgotten. They kept trying to break us and recoup their expenses. I don't know whether I could have survived by sheer stubbornness, or if it weren't for Octavia. I don't know if I could have survived by sheer stubbornness if it weren't for Octavia. I probably couldn't have. I would have just given up and died, but I had to pull my girl out of that meat grinder, and she believed in me. Had enough hope for the both of us. When I lay there with my back slashed to pieces, she whispered to me about the river kingdoms, where there's no slavery, where everyone could go wherever they want and take whatever they want. I'll be damned, but I thought she was making it up to keep our hopes alive. And now it turns out to be true. All of it, every last word. No chains, no slaves, no laws. Just live and be happy. Is slavery legal in Numeria? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There are some laws against it, but even in Starfall, a third of the people live in bondage. And that's the capital. In the regions where the Black Sovereign's hand doesn't reach, they hold tribal customs instead of laws. Barbarians don't keep slaves. They instead have thralls. Big bloody difference. On top of all that, there's the Technic League. Laws and customs mean nothing to those slime balls. They just take whatever and whoever they want. Thank you for your answers. Ask away. What kind of relationship do you have with Octavia? Well, my Octavia and I don't have a relationship. We have a life together. What do you mean? Back when we were children, we were taken as apprentices by the great spellmaster Maestro Janusz, he called himself. He was our teacher. Well, he made Octavia read books and memorize spells. I have my own innate magic. He trained me a bit, taught me how to control my gifts, so I wouldn't lose control and incinerate myself like a dumbass. Oh, teacher, we will meet again. There's one more test I must pass. You're asking about my Octavia. We spent all our lives together. We learned everything together, how to weave magic and how to survive. And as we grew older, we learned how to love. Without each other, we would never have gotten out of there, that's for sure. We have given up and surrendered to death, but together, that's a very different story. Not the first to tell, and not the 10th, but eventually we made it out. Why do you call her yours? She doesn't seem like that very much. My girl loves freedom so much, even a slight chance of losing it frightens her. She's so smart. You really think she feels like I'm trying to make her mine? Like an apple stolen at the market? Me, who skinned alive for trying to help her escape? She's afraid of the word my because it's because she doesn't understand the difference between my boots and my heart. She will understand sooner or later. Are you and Octavia faithful to each other? Octavia and I are connected. Thus, the connection cannot be broken. We grew into each other. You know, jealousy is is for weak cowards who don't trust each other and are scared of being tricked. If a knight on the side threatens your love, then that means there was no real love to begin with. She and I are together to the end. We'll never be apart from each other, so when she likes some lad or some lass, it's no drama to me. Just ask her whether she wants me to leave them alone or join in, and she does the same. What are you judging us? Or maybe you just want to join us in our tent, The half-orc grins. I'm not here to judge, just curious. You asked and I answered. When you pry into others' lives, I don't be surprised if you found something that will keep you up at night. Thank you for your answers. Don't mention it. I have to go. So long. If you want to know anything else, just ask. Don't be shy. Just don't go pale when I answer.
Follow
okay. Hold on, let me just take a sip. Ragongar is giving me a bit of a soreness in the throat. Oh, hello. Octavia gives you a fetching smile. Something you need? Could you tell me about your childhood, please? Octavia sighs. Too little. Some scraps of memory. No more than that. What exactly do you remember? Octavia reflects on that, tapping her fingers against her cheek. Nothing special. Some images of a faraway past, that is all. I do remember wooden table legs. The painting on them was peeling off, and I was standing on my toes trying to peek on what was on the table. Remember it was a wild rose in the window. It kept me up at night, scratching the glass with its gnarled branches. I do remember my mother's blue dress. It was a trifle, battered, but it smelled of lavender. Octavia wrinkles her forehead. Guess that's all. Not much there, right? All those memories, it's like they're not mine at all. I recall some images, and I know I should feel something about them, but I don't remember exactly what I should feel. So I let them rot in a swamp with the tassel worms. Octavia grins cheerfully. My life's good enough without them. What do you know about your parents? You're a half-elf, right? Am I? Octavia examines herself as if seeing herself for the first time. You know, I think you might be right. I'm rather slim, tall, and I could see well in dim light. She raises her hands and touches her ears. Aha! They're a bit pointy. Yes, I'm definitely a half-elf. Let's think about this logically. So my mother was an elf and my father was a human. Or maybe it was the other way around, and my mother was a... Finally, Octavia can't take it anymore and bursts into laughter, having spoiled her own act. So that's it. You know, now you know as much as the parents I do. She says after laughter subsides. Do you remember how you were enslaved? I clearly remember a man who took me away from my house. He was big, with a huge pot-belly and shaggy beard. I was afraid he would eat me. Octavia shrugs. Anyway, he didn't stay with me long. He gave me to his slaver accomplices, and I never saw him again. When my mother was giving to him, she was crying. I barely could hear her quiet voice, but I can't recall her words or her face behind her tears. Just that lavender smell. It tickled my nose, and I wanted to sneeze. Did my mother sell me into slavery? But then why was she crying? If she didn't want me to be a slave, then why didn't she try to save me? Octavia twirls her hair, pondering over the thought, and then sighs. One more riddle from my past that I don't care to solve. It must be horrible not being able to recall your childhood. Oh, I recall my childhood in bright details. I spent in dirty barracks. I wore flea-infested rags and slept on straw mattresses instead of a proper bed. Octavia smiles humorously. Though I understand what you mean. You know, to be honest, I'm not sure I want to remember my childhood before slavery. If I could remember what I lost, it probably would bring me more pain. Octavia shakes her head several times and makes herself smile again. So it's good that I don't remember much of anything. I want to ask you something else. Of course, what do you want to talk about? Will you tell me about your life in slavery? I don't like to recall it, but if you insist. Octavia frowns. The slavers from the Technic League tried to ruin my life, but all they could do was ruin my childhood. How did you happen to find yourself in the Stolen Lands? My enslavers from the Technic League funded a large expedition into the Stolen Lands. 100 agents, tens of slaves, wagons. We were to search for some ancient artifacts or ancient ruins. Octavia shrugs. Our group never made it to the Technic League hideout. Along the way, it was attacked by the future owner of the stolen lands himself, and I'll be forever grateful for to him for it. Octavia winks cheerfully. Did you have many masters over the years? Yes, many of them. Some owned me for years. Others felt they had enough with me in a couple of months. Trust me, I did all I could make every master eager to get rid of me. A slave that's trained in magic is rather expensive thing, so they wouldn't kill me. At least that's what I hoped. So I drooled and played the idiot, and I listened to every new master argued with my former one, trying to return me. Sometimes I punctured the pages of magic books, so I was forced to copy with a quill. Other times I pretended to mix up spells, so instead of lighting a magic torch, I set dozens of dancing lights floating above the ceiling, just below the ceiling. Of course, most of those tricks of mine usually ended badly. Got punished on a regular basis. My back still remembers the master's whips, though all my scars from those times are long gone. Where did you learn to use magic? Oh, I was taught magic by Danush of Starfall, one of the most famous wizards in Novaria. Maestro Danush, as he insisted on calling himself. Octavia's voice overflows with contemptuous sarcasm. Anyone would be happy to learn from such a great master, and only a talentless bitch like me would dare reject his teachings and indulge in her laziness. At least that's what Maestro Janush used to repeat constantly. While whipping knowledge into my back, the great Maestro was a big fan of punishment. Octavia's lips pressed into a thin line. The technically didn't care for a few slaves, if a few slaves died under their master's whip, as long as Maestro Janush provided an arcane-trained one in return. Officially, there's no slavery in Numeria, but the Technic League is above the law. A slave with an aptitude for the arcane is worth more than a regular one. The slave's repertoire is limited to the simplest and safest spells, of course. Have you ever tried to run away? What a silly question. Of course I tried. As soon as I saw the even tiniest opportunity to get free, Reg and I grabbed it. On one occasion, we jumped from the cart into a river. There was a time when we spent weeks trying to dismantle a wall on the far wall of the barracks and make a path out. Sometimes we attacked their guards when they least expected it. We craved freedom. We lived only the dream about it. The short days, sometimes weeks, that we spent on the run were the happiest days of my life. We used to hide in the woods or blend into the crowd on the streets of Starfall. The night stars were our guiding lights, and we shared our dream with them to reach the river kingdoms, for these lands were neither slaves nor masters. We were starving and freezing, but that was the real life. Too bad it was usually ended too soon. The Technic League agents always found us in the end. I don't know how they managed to do it. They probably used magic, or maybe it was just our fate. They whipped us and returned us to our old masters, or sold us to new ones, if the old ones refused to pay. So we were slaves again, but the dream about the River Kingdom never left our hearts. Have your masters ever hurt you? You figured that out, didn't you? Octavia enlarged her eyes. Maybe you want to hear all about the beatings I survived, the humiliations I've endured. Imagine the worst thing one person could do to another. Manipulate it and multiply it to tenfold. That's what happened to me nearly every day in slavery. Masters, oh, how they hate that word. Octavia shakes her head furiously, making her lock stance. They punished me because they wanted to hurt me, but what hurt even more was the mere fact of their existence. Let's talk about something else. Octavia stops you, gently touching her hand. Wait, I want to tell you. She sighs and shakes her head as if trying to collect her thoughts. The Technic League agents you rescued us from. Reg and I tried to run from them many times, but they always managed to find us eventually. I have no reason to hope that in this time they lost track of us for good. Yeah, if you want to get some romance points, you could be like that, I think. Well, those filthy traitors take you again. Just let them try. Yes, we'll chase them to the border, and we won't see them through the dust. Suddenly she frowns in contemplation, turning her locks. I still like to find them first. What kind of relationship do you have with Ragangar? Octavia shrugs awkwardly. We're together, she answers simply. The way you said we're together sounds unconvincing. Is something wrong? You noticed. Well, I didn't mean that. Now I'll have to explain. Octavia shakes her head. I'm not sure how to put it correctly. You see, Reg seems to treat me like his property. He's always kind to me, and it feels good when we travel together, or when we share a blanket at the campsite, but he always calls me my Octavia. I've told him over and over I don't belong to anyone, that I'm my own, that I stay with him by my own free will, and he just grins when I say that, I bet he'd like to think that I'm his. Bet he likes to think that I'm his. Never mind, though. We'll sort it out somehow. Octavia shakes her head, making her troubling thoughts go away. When did you meet Rig? Years ago, when I was studying magic at Maestro Janus's. Rig was a student too, though you couldn't actually say he was really studying anything. Rig had his own way of casting spells. He never needed Maestro's instructions. You see, unlike wizards, Rig draws power directly from his innate bloodline abilities. Janusz didn't realize the nature of Reg's power when he took the young boy as his new student. When he finally understood them, he just taught the negligent half-orc to control his powers, to avoid harming himself or others. Reg and I have been together ever since. We could both use magic, but most importantly, we both crave freedom. We vowed to each other that someday we'll break free from the unbearable captivity, or die trying, together. Octavia gives you a warm smile. I guess it's good that we fulfilled only the first part of that vow. You owe much? Octavia winces. I don't like this "owe" word. I don't owe anything to anyone. Anybody. Everything I do of my own free will. But the answer to the question, yes, Rig has done a lot for me. Can't count how many times he was whipped to the masters by the masters because of me. How many times he took blame for my doings. He never complained when they dragged him, beaten him, covered in blood to the slave barracks. He just groaned and clutched his fishes while I bandaged his wounds with the scrapes of my filthy clothing. We've always been together, my whole life, as slaves, as free people. I wouldn't be me if not for him. The fact that Reg is so impulsive doesn't bother you? That is a delicate matter. Octavia winces, looking away. Reg means a lot to me, and he endured a lot for me, but some parts of him just scare me. He becomes extremely bloodthirsty when it comes to slavers. Don't get me wrong, I hate slavers with all my heart, and I'll do a lot to cleanse the world of their filth. But Reg, he'd do anything, understand? Absolutely anything. I'm afraid his anger might kill everybody good in him. Kill everything good in him. I've attempted to talk to him about it many times, but he just won't listen. He becomes angrier after our conversations. Octavia just sighs sadly. Let's change the subject. Of course, what do you want to talk about? I just have to ask. How do you manage to look so gorgeous even when we're out in the middle of nowhere? Oh, so you've noticed. Octavia smiles slightly. My appearance is a result of daily effort, and it's not easy. Do you know how much time it takes to create good makeup or to mend a dress, even with the help of magic? So if someday you wake up early, an hour before dawn, or so, you could actually check on me. You'll see how I prepare for a new day. Another romance points if you want. You should put a lot of effort into this, but the results make it worthwhile. You bet. You know, I like to feel attractive even when we're on the march. Octavia flashes her teasing smile at you. It feels so good to be a beauty of a group of barely washed, extremely reckless young gentlemen. You're my thorns and I'm your rose, Octavia giggles. You worship Callisto, right? Yes, many slaves survived only thanks to their faith. Some lived hoping for a day when a good deity would deliver them. Some even offered deals to evil gods. But me and Reg, Callisto has taught us the most important things. Expect no gifts from above. Rely only on ourselves. Never forgive those who wronged us. But at the same time, savor every droplet of pleasure we could squeeze from our bleak days. Amazing after all your hardships, you still remain cheerful and optimistic. Octavia's smiles fades a little. I try not to view life as a never-ending course of sufferings. Yes, I've had my share of hard times, but do I need to recall them? After all, along with the bad things, I've had some good things as well. I had a dream and I followed it, and eventually it came true. Following that path, I met Reg and you. Now I'm free and surrounded by friends. Octavia's voices trembled with hidden emotions, but her smile remains warm and sincere. Why did you need to find the Technic League agents? Why do you need to find the Technic League? I feel like this is something that's supposed to come up later. I broke free from slavery thanks to you. I obtained everything I dreamed of, my freedom and the opportunity to control my own life. I use this opportunity to fight the Technic League, at least the part that operates here in the Stolen Lands. I wish to free all slaves from their Technic League masters. Octavia gives you a warm smile and gently touches your hand. I do believe that while we're together, we can achieve a lot, even this. Alright, we'll talk later. Sure, come anytime. Okay, maybe not. I thought maybe like she did mention technically is operating here in the Stonelands, at least Ragon guarded. I wonder what these coins are. They're cash money, that's what they are. Keep them, because later on in the game you'll find someone who will buy them. And he will buy them for a pretty penny. Same with the that anything that has like the yellowy circle is either a quest item or a artifact item. And artifact items can be sold for money. I think it's like 100 gold each, but if you wait, there's a guy who collects those items specifically, will buy them for like 3 times their worth. So yeah, keep them on hand. Okay. Should get rid of some of my stuffs. Oh yeah, I mentioned I wanted to buy potions. I didn't buy them. I knew I was forgetting something. I'm like, there's something I'm forgetting. What is... Oops. Show me what you have. Oh yeah. I think it was 50 gold before, now it's 37. Let's get 26 potions for a total of 30. Yeah, we could afford that. And a couple of these. Say 9 for a total of 10. Oh, maybe not. That's too steep. I do want some lesser restorations though. Let's grab 5. Let's go for 6. I don't think I need to remove Curse right now. Potion of Blur would be nice. Use it for a boss battle or something. Yeah, I'll take a couple. Just in case. Yeah, these things are heavy, by the way, so... Should actually... I'll sell whatever I can't. Okay. I'll sell some stuff. Okay, so I have one down here, so I don't need this major armor. And I don't... You know, I'll keep it just in case. I don't need Bane or Expedition Tree. I don't usually use scrolls in combat. Usually any item that you could use in combat, I generally don't use if it's not a wand or a potion. Personally. I know that's probably a stupid thing, but like, there's a chance you fail if you can't cast that spell. So unless it's on the spell list of the user using it, there's a chance it could just straight out fail. So that's why I generally don't use them. Generally. Actually, I don't think the person who could use that is going to join our party in this run, so I'm just going to put it there. Oh, Jathal got to level up. I'll level up when we come back. Alright, onward to Sacramore, and then I'll end the episode. I think I should be good to head inside the depths of Sacramore. Just fill out this map a bit. Oh. So I'm probably gonna take a snooze right before we enter Sacramore. Just discover all this stuff. Because I want to get rid of this strength damage, but I don't want to like just waste the day, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I tire.
Okay. Begin resting.
Miri, I've been meaning to ask you for a while now. Do you do anything special to style your hair?
You bet! You grab an enemy, you headbutt him in the stomach. My style is good and done!
No, my hearty meal. My strength damage gone? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Now we should be fit as a fiddle for exploring Sycamore. Initiative determines how quickly your characters react to danger. Alright, let's pop off a hard save. Alright. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'm so great for next episode of Corn Stars, and I shall see you then. Bye bye.